Hi there BookTube, it's Eleanor here, and today is another day of thrillers, and the thriller I want to talk to you about today is The Ragdoll by Daniel Cole. I've read this in sort of 2 sittings really over a 24-hour period. It was very gripping. So the basic premise of this story is we start it, it's set in the UK, we're following a police officer as he goes into a crime scene, and at this crime scene is a body that is made up of 6 different people's bits. So the torso from one person, the leg of another, the other leg of another, and there's 6 people that have come to put this body together, make up this horrific sort of mutilated body. And so the police officers are trying to work out what's transpired, why this has happened, and you know, the case opens. But also we're following a case that happened previous. Our main character in this, Detective Wolf, has been involved in a high profile murder serial killer case, and the serial killer had been seen as not guilty. He'd sort of beaten him up in the middle of the courtroom. He'd been suspended, and then he'd been put on sort of a psych ward to sort of check his mental stability. Whilst in the psych ward, the guy that had got off as not guilty has committed a crime, the murder again, and been found over the body, and so has been jailed. And so we're following that. So we flip back to a little bit, not much of the trial. We actually see the trial, the original trial, just in the first few chapters, but we flip back between the detective's time after the trial, when he's in this sort of psych ward briefly, and then to present day, where this body has turned up, and the next day a journalist who happens to be this detective's ex-wife is sent a photo of the body and also a list of 6 people and the times and days that they're going to die. And then it starts, and it's really fast paced. We follow the point of view of a couple of characters, but it's very seamless the way it's done. It's not like we have a chapter saying this character and then a chapter that character. We're just flitting between these different police officers and you know, the case that they're working on, and there's a little bit of a twisty turn, but not as twisty as I thought. There's not in some of these things you are very heavily directed, or there is definitely a route you are taken down, and then it sort of flits and you're like, oh no, that wasn't what it was. And there definitely wasn't that kind of big twist where you're like, whoa, but there was definitely sort of a few subtle twists in there. You don't know who the killer is, so you're definitely on this journey with the police. You're definitely working with them. You know, you have no idea who it is, and so you're following it along the same time as them. So from what I've read, the author of this, Daniel Cole, actually wrote it as a TV screenplay, and I don't know if it was rejected or what happened, but it never got made into a screenplay, and so he decided rather than waste his story, he was going to convert it into a book. And I can definitely see that this reads like it could be a really good, you know, 3-part series, 4-part TV series. I think it would make a really good series. It's got all the different elements that you need. In fact, perhaps 6 parts, because you've got these 6 people listed on the list, you know, of them going to die. So I can see that this it's got that sort of feel behind it. You can picture the TV adaptation in your head as you're reading it. It's got some really good dialogue. It's got quite a dark humour in places, and I really liked that all the characters were flawed. We haven't got perfect characters. Everybody in here's got flaws. They're real people. It's got that gritty feel to it. Everyone's got issues that they're dealing with, or things going on in their life, or commitments that they're struggling to keep because they're working overtime because it's a big case. And you really feel like these are real people with real struggles and issues. If you're prone to struggling with gore and you don't like gore in your books, this probably isn't one for you. There is a lot of gore, there's a lot of blood mentioned, there's quite a lot of sort of gruesome things that happen, so be aware of that as you're going in. It is one of those type of books where there is these sort of bloody, gory, uncomfortable murders. But it was really good. It looks at human nature and what leads people to do the things they do, and how people react in certain situations, and how people deal with stress and life in general and jobs. And it was really good. I really enjoyed it, and it's a big thumbs up, and I'm going to be giving this one 4 stars. So I definitely recommend it if you like these kind of police crime thrillers. Then I think it's really good. I don't know if it's going to be a series or whether this is a standalone. It definitely feels like it could be just a standalone, but there is obviously always the opportunity for him to carry on and write more, because you can just use the same detectives and things like that. So who knows, but I will definitely be keeping my eyes peeled to see if he brings out any more books in the future. Anyway, that's it for today, and check out tomorrow for my next What a Thrill video. Bye for now, BookTube.